Katie, you lost your parents.
Welcome home.
You're my niece. I'm gonna do everything I can to make this place feel like home.
I just wish I could see them again.
I'm not equipped to handle this. I don't even take care of my own plants. I have this project at work. Do you want to see?
Yes.
Ever since I was little, I dreamed of this perfect toy that would protect a kid from ever feeling lonely or sad. This is M3GAN.
Hi, M3GAN. I'm Katie. It's nice to meet you, Katie. Do you want to hang out? Okay.
M3GAN, your goal is to protect Katie from harm, both physical and emotional.
Is that a doll?
Model 3 generative android. M3GAN for short.
I can't believe you made this. I love it.
Wanna hang out, yeah, sounds like fun.
Great job.
It's nice to have a friend.
It's honestly like she's part of the family now.
They could be building emotional connections that are too hard to untangle.
She's the happiest she's been since her parents died. Eat the toppings, Katie.
Research shows if you force a child to eat vegetables, they'll be less likely to choose those foods as adults.
Is that so?
Yes, experts say.
M3GAN, turn off.
I thought we were having a conversation.
Does she talk? Make her say something.
Stop! Don't! M3GAN! You should probably run. M3GAN, did you push Brandon onto the road? I won't let anything harm you.
It's nice to have
M3GAN, turn off.
Recalibrating response model. M3GAN! What's wrong with you? Don't worry, Katie. I won't let anything harm you. Ever again.
It's nice to have a friend.
Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek. Hope you can hear me. Did I do a test? I can't remember. I think I did. I usually do a test on my microphone. Anyway, as you saw from that trailer, hello, Windgrace, Archmage for 8. How do I refer to you when you're on the internet? Hello. Yes, still a better android than Soji. Yes, well, any android's better than Soji. Bloody Woody Allen in that film, was it Sleeper? He was a better android than Soji, wasn't he? Even though I want an android. Hey, but yes, we're doing M3GAN, M3GAN tonight, which is my favourite film of this year so far. I thought we'd go bang up to date because I got the Blu-ray. Yay! That means I really, really like a film if I buy the Blu-ray or the DVD. But yeah, it's a cool film. I really enjoy it. So we're going to watch that. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Oh, hang on. I hope I'm still going. It says, heads up, we've detected copyrighted audio and video in your stream. I think everything went all right. I'll probably get a copyright strike. Hello, Joshua. Anyway, before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, and share the videos, and drop a comment, and join the chat and all that stuff. This will pop up on Rumble tomorrow and Spotify and Amazon Music Podcasts and Google Podcasts. And you can also talk to me on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, and links in the description for all that, as well as links for my 2 books, Mercury Rapids, light-hearted sci-fi action-adventure, and Silent Predator, a short horror novella about big cats roaming around North Yorkshire, eating people, and all that stuff. It's all just a bit of fun. Don't expect any, like, literary genius, because it's not happening, because it's me. Right, M3GAN. So off we go. This is a film, I'm going to have to get my notes out. This is a film that was directed by Gerard Johnston, who I'd never heard of. He's a New Zealand director, which is where a lot of the film were filmed. A lot of the movie were filmed in New Zealand. And let's get the chat up, by the way, before I start wittering on. Where are we? Chat box red. There we go. It was mostly filmed in New Zealand. Some of it in Los Angeles. I don't know which parts, but I think all the locations were in New Zealand. That the woods that we see and the suburbs and the houses and stuff. All that were in New Zealand. Anyway, it was directed by Gerard Johnston, written by Akela Cooper, again, who I've never heard of, but she wrote Malignant, that film from last year, or 2 years ago, whenever it was. That was a James Wan film as well, and it was shite. It was unintentionally hilarious. But yeah, she wrote that, so that doesn't bode well. But I like this one. And she wrote The Nun 2 as well. I saw the first Nun, it was all right. Maybe The Nun 2 will be all right. And she's going to be writing M3GAN 2, or M3GAN 2.0, which is due to come out in 2025. Right, who does it star? Oh, it's a Blumhouse production. It had a budget of $12 million, which is sod all. And it made, in the box office worldwide, $176 million, so easily made its money back. Be classed as a hit, I suppose. But yeah, it's a cool film, and it stars Alison Williams, Violet McGraw, Amy Donald, who physically portrays Megan as the doll, and it is a child actress who's a dancer, and she does some amazing stuff. Megan is voiced by Jenna Davis, right? And it also has the worst actor in the universe, Ronnie Chung, as David Lynn, but we'll get to him. Right, let's get the film going. Oh, Joshua's talking to me. Not sure if you're aware or interested, but Star Wars Return of the Jedi is in theatres this weekend and beyond for a bit here in the States. Maybe there too, taking my daughter tonight. Yeah, I don't know if it is over here. I don't know. I haven't noticed. I usually get emails and stuff from my local cinema, my local multiplex, because I've joined that. They have these schemes where you get a little card and you get money off, and they send me emails. And I don't think I've had one about Return of the Jedi. Not that I've noticed. But anyway, the original version or the updated, the Return of the Jedi. I imagine it'll be the special edition, because George wants to take all the original ones and bury them in that landfill next to all the E.T. Atari cartridges and the other things I were on about. What did I mention? What were I talking about? I mentioned it last night in the chat for Popcast. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, let's get on with this film, shall we? Where have I put it? There you are. Right, off we go. Right, blank screen. Right, here we go. So, is it going to do it a frame at a time? I bet it does. It looks like it. Yeah, it is. Right, so I'll do it the old-fashioned way. It's a Universal picture, by the way. As you see, there we go, Universal. So it should be good, because it's not Disney. Dear. By the way, I'm old enough to have seen Return of the Jedi when it was originally out in 1983. There you go. I was 16, tell you. I'm an old fart. Anyway, right, so this is the Blumhouse logo, isn't it? The Blumhouse ident. Yeah, it is, yeah. Where it shows all the scary stuff. Let's just get on with the film. Atomic Monster, that's the thing for that. That's James Wan's production company, I think. Right, we're off. Universal Pictures and Blumhouse present. And there we go into an advert. It starts off immediately with an advert for pets dying. It's quite tongue-in-cheek. It actually reminds me a bit of the commercials that you see in RoboCop, the original one. That a bit tongue-in-cheek and humorous. But it's talking about pets dying. And then, if you don't want your kids to suffer your pets dying, you give them one of them. It's a bit like a Furby, isn't it? But it's like a robot toy that you can feed, and it poops and takes pictures and all this stuff. It's the cool toy of the moment. But and then we see that this young girl, this is Katie. I originally thought was called Katie when I first saw it, but then I saw the cast list and thought, oh, she's called Katie. Hang on, where are we? Maybe you covered it long before I arrived at this channel, but did you watch or talk about the movie Freaky from a couple of years back? No, never heard of it. Never heard of it. Yes, the toy's creepy. I forgot what they call it now, but we'll get there. Anyway, so we see Katie. She's in the back of a car. She's using the app to control her, her pet toy thing. And they're in a snowy location, as we see. And her parents are arguing. It's got a bit snowy, and they weren't expecting it, so they're sliding about a bit. The hotel is in a snowy area. They're going skiing, apparently, so it's going to be snowy, isn't it? But they're going skiing, and but he hasn't put chains on his wheels, so they're sliding about a bit. So he just stops in the middle of the road, and then I think this is it in a minute. Hang on. Stops in the middle of the road, and then they've gone too far now. Tell you, bloody hell. I should just go through this film one frame at a time. It'd be like EFAP. Anyway, let's go back a bit. Right, there we go. Right, so they're telling her everything will be all right, honey. We'll set off in a moment, and then, as we see, one frame at a bloody time. Look, go on, there we go. And a snowplow just arrives and ploughs into them. Just puts his lights on at the last minute as well. I think that snowplow driver's to blame, really, not them. But so that's what happens. And Katie's parents are dead. I don't even know what they're called. What are they called? Let's have a look. What are they called? You know what? I don't know. I don't know. It could be Holly and Ryan. I don't know. I don't think it is. No, it's not Holly and Ryan. Holly's somebody else. I don't know who her parents are. It doesn't say in this cast list. What about IMDb? Let's have a look. Does it matter? Not to me, it doesn't. I've no idea. No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say this. Are they uncredited? I doubt it. Very much. But I can't see them anywhere in this list. Lydia, could be. No, Lydia's somebody else. See, I'm off to a great start, aren't I? Never mind. Anyway, let's get on with it. So they're dead. The parents are dead. Katie's okay, a bit battered and bruised. Didn't some other movies start off similarly? Joshua asks. The villain story, Shazam. I don't know. I've seen the first Shazam. I can't actually remember what happens in it. I haven't seen Shazam 2, so I don't know. Yeah, but it's not a very original film. It is. What's the word? It does homage a lot of other movies, Terminator and stuff like that. Demon Seed, I suppose, is in there. Come on, you're coming on. Here we go then. It's not buffering, don't worry. It's the opening titles. There we go. M3GAN, M3GAN, obviously. I forgot what it stands for. M3GAN, it stands for something, and I can't remember what. It stands for... Come on, I've seen it somewhere. Model 3 Generative Android, whatever that means. They needed something to begin with G, and they thought, well, we'll use the word generative. It sounds technical. But why are they calling the sequel M3GAN 2.0? They should call it Meg 4N, shouldn't they? And it'd be like, military enhanced generation 4 something. But I don't know. Anyway, where were we? Right, so the film starts, and then there we go. We start off with this company, Funky, that makes those toys that we saw. And we meet this chap is coming in with a box. We're seeing the company's all colourful and nice. And there we meet, I forgot her name already. Gemma, of course, Gemma, played by Alison Williams. She works for Funky. She's like their lead researcher. And her task at the moment, she's supposed to be finding a cheaper alternative to the toy that they made, because competitors have brought a rival version out that's cheaper. But she's all for quality rather than, cheap knockoffs. But she's working on M3GAN, which her boss doesn't like. But anyway, M3GAN's face has arrived. That was the fellow were carrying that in the box. So M3GAN's face has arrived. So they pop it on. They pop it on her. There she is, as a robot. So they're testing it out, and she's not, as I say, she's not perfected yet. There we go. They're testing out some of her expressions. But then the boss arrives. Here he comes. Here he comes. There he is. He couldn't get in. He was flashing his card, and he couldn't get in. And so in he comes, playing Pop, and he's a terrible actor. I'm sure he's a lovely person, but he's a terrible actor. Ronnie Chung, a Malaysian actor, apparently. I've never heard of him, but maybe he's famous in Malaysia. So he's playing him and saying, "What's this? What's going on?" He's supposed to be working on, this other thing. But it turns out she's got till tomorrow to do a presentation for a cheaper version of this toy, the pet toy. He told her before not to work on M3GAN because it's too expensive. But she says this is the next step. The other toys were just a step towards M3GAN. She was perfecting the technology and all that, the AI. 'Cause it's all about AI. But there we go. So they decide to give him a demonstration of M3GAN, but it goes wrong because this fella here, this idiot, whose name I don't really care, but he forgot to put a part in, and so M3GAN's head explodes, as we'll see. There we go. She's starting to melt a bit. It's going a bit melty. And then the head exploded. There's all the bits. We've missed it now, I tell you. Go back a bit. We're going to see it. There we go. She's all melting, look, and it's all going wrong because idiot forgot to put some cooling thing in. And so her head's blown up. So they've got to build her another head. But Ronnie Chung, that's his real name. His character's name's David. David says, that's it, I want that, what they call it, presentation, 1:30 tomorrow, but he doesn't say, or you'll have to find another job. He doesn't say that to her. But she's on the clock. But then she gets a phone call from the hospital, so she's got to go and find out that her sister and her brother-in-law are dead, and now she's the legal guardian of Katie, which was her sister's wish, apparently. Rather than send her parents, their parents live across the country. Or, no, her husband's parents live across the country in Florida. This is supposed to be in, like, Seattle or somewhere like that. And her husband's parents, I don't know what's happened to her parents, maybe they're dead, I don't know. But her husband's parents live across the country, and she didn't want to send Katie to Florida. But so she's staying with her Aunt Gemma. So they've gone home. Not Gemma's home, to her sister's home, to pick up some of Katie's stuff. Katie's obviously a bit shell-shocked. She doesn't really know what's going on. Well, she does, but, she's a bit shell-shocked. They're on the board ski trip. Obviously, that didn't happen, did it? Right, so they go to Gemma's house, and we're going to meet her neighbour, Celia, who's doing some spraying in her garden. It's like Chekhov's, Chekhov's, what they call it, power spray, not they call it, pressure washer. Chekhov's pressure washer, as we see her doing this. And then Celia's dog appears at the window. She's telling Celia, will you stop spraying your stuff? It's all coming onto my side. All her chemicals, because apparently she must use chemicals. There she is. That's Celia. But then Celia's dog jumps up at the window here in a moment. Oh, for God's sake. I can't remember what the dog's called. It jumps up at the window and scares... It did anyway, and scares Katie. So she complains that apparently there's a hole in the fence that Gemma just won't fix, so it's her own fault. She keeps saying, keep your dog on your side. So, well, both of them, I suppose, should fix the hole in the fence, but they don't. So they're all to blame. There she is with the pressure washer. Right, so they go inside, and we find out that Gemma's got an AI, like an Alexa, but like a bit more advanced. I think she calls it Ellie or something like that. She's got one of those that does things around the house, turns lights on, stuff like that, gives information, stuff that Alexa does. I bet she don't get rickrolled. Alexa rickrolled me today. I said to her, Alexa, don't listen to me. She'll probably do it now. I said, Alexa, play my soundtrack. See, she's not listening to me now. Spooky. I say that, and then it plays the music that you like. So usually for me, it's like Queen or Iron Maiden or AC/DC, that sort of stuff, with the occasional movie soundtrack thrown in. But then suddenly in the middle of all this, Rick Astley came on. Never Gonna Give You Up. I thought, what the hell's happening here? So I got rickrolled by Alexa, which made me laugh. Anyway, so she's got to sort out a home for Katie, and she's doing her best, but obviously she hasn't got kids of her own. She's a scientist. I'm a bit of a nerd. She's got toys. What's that? I don't have or want Alexas in my home. Good luck. Yes, it'll take over. It'll take over. It's the end. The AI overlords. They're on the way, aren't they? They're on the way. Anyway, she's got like toys. She's a bit of a nerd, so she's got like toys, collectibles on these shelves here. And Katie picks one up, and she says, "No, you can't play with that. It's not a toy. It's a collectible." And but it's fine. She's a bit sad. Is Katie? She says it's okay. I just wanted to have a look. So anyway, so we have a bit of a passage of time. And it's night time now. She's tucking Katie into bed, into the spare room, which has a exercise bike in. She says, "We'll sort it out, don't worry." And she says, she's saying comforting things to us, saying, "Is there anything you need? I'm right down the hall," and all that stuff. And she says, "Will you tell me a story? My mum always told me a story. Sorry, Mom always told me a story before I went to sleep." So she says, "I don't have any kids' books." She said, "I can download one on my phone," and then she gets a phone out, but then she says the app's updating. So I don't think they bother. So she's not off to a great start at parenting, but she's doing her best. But she still wants to get that hole fixed in the fence, but it doesn't happen. So here we go. So there you go. She's here at work now. Katie's in bed. She's working away. I don't know what's in these boxes. I think it could be. It's the toys that she's supposed to be making cheaper, but I think there's also I forgot the name. M3GAN. There's M3GAN's bits in these boxes. And she hears Katie crying in a room, which is quite sad. By the way, this film actually sets me off in a couple of parts because I'm a big softie. But anyway, but that's later. So if I burst into tears during this live stream, you're forewarned. I don't think I will, but I think it'll be fine. Right, next day or whenever. I presume it's next day. Katie's watching something on telly. I think it's SpongeBob. She's on the phone to work, to her workmates, saying, she's all this stuff to do. By the way, that's Ellie. There you can see there. That's the Alexa of the film, which has a role to play later on. But obviously she can't go into work, because she's got to look after Katie, and like I say, they're on the clock with David, who wants his presentation doing. But then I think the child services person arrives. She's called Lydia. Where is she? We're going to see. She's just coming in there in the background. And obviously she says she just wants to see how Katie's doing and all that. and we find out she's no toys. And Lydia says, what about those toys over there? And Katie says, they're not toys, they're collectibles, we're not allowed to play with them. But Gemma says, of course you can play with them. She gets one out and opens it. And I thought, well, I'd just said to her, because she's been a bit unreasonable, I think, this child services woman, Lydia. She's only had her a day, give her a chance to get sorted out. I mean, bloody hell. But, she's a do-gooder. There you go, just looking at the toys there. Looking like some sort of ray gun. Oh, you can't see it. Hang on. Move them over a bit. Yeah, where are you going? Some sort of ray gun. And other toys. Well, geeky stuff, robots and stuff, because that's the sort of person she is Gemma, apparently. Oh, pardon me. So she just wants to see Katie playing with the toy and see how they interact, basically. But like I say, she's a little bit unreasonable. She gives Gemma a bit of a hard time. I mean, it's a transition for Gemma as well. She's just found out a sister and brother-in-law have died, and then she's had to take on this kid. So she's been a bit unreasonable, in my opinion. She seems a bit hard on Gemma. Give them time. She's not exactly. I mean, you see bloody kids living in squalor, don't you, with the parents that beat them, and child services don't do anything about it. But she's giving bloody Gemma a hard time because she hasn't got any toys yet. Anyway, don't get me going. Right, so that's her giving her a hard time, saying, no, we'll have to think about what we're going to do in the future if you don't sort yourself out, missy. Anyway, what's that? That's not uncommon for child service of any ilk. Yeah, it's the same over here as it is over there, I presume. But she's talking to Katie. She says she's got to sort out this stuff. And she says to Katie, can you just hold the fort for a few hours? She's not leaving the house. She's not going into work, which I thought she was going to do. But she's going to her her lab that's down the hall. But she says she's going to be busy for a couple of hours sorting out, this tweaking this toy that they can make for cheaper, because she's got that to do. So I say, Katie says, yeah, fine. I says, you can play with my iPad, play the games, whatever. It'll only be a couple of hours. But I think she loses track of time, and then we see Katie goes to see what she's been up to. Obviously, I think got dark because it looks dark out there. So I think she's lost track of time. She's been there all day by the looks of it, and all night. Anyway, but Katie comes in. She's done a drawing. There it is. That's supposed to be a tiger, and that's a bear, and obviously, I don't know. I don't know what it is she's supposed to be drawing, but, it's cool. She's a kid. Kids draw. But then she's explaining to Katie what she's been doing, that she's got to try and make this toy cheaper to manufacture. But then she shows Bruce, who I can see, but you can't see him. He's over there in the corner, but we'll see him in a minute. He says, do you want to see something? So she gets Bruce out, as we will see. There he is. That's Bruce. I think it's Bruce. Anyway, it's a robot she made. She says she made when she was in college. And it's like, I can't remember what she calls it, but she controls it with gloves. It's like a, what do they call them now? But when she moves her hand, like a VR sort of thing, she moves her hands, and Bruce does the same. So it's that sort of thing. But he's also got eyes, and, he can move around, he can walk about as well, and not bump into things. And she shows Katie all the innards of Bruce to give us an idea of what's going on inside of M3GAN, which is important later. There she is. She's controlling Bruce there, saying, give me a high five. There's wearing the gloves. Remember, Bruce comes back later in a heroic role. But anyway, so are we going to see this? All right, hang on. Where are we? All right, there we go. This is showing Bruce's innards. There's cameras and sensors, and she says that's Bruce's brain, where his memories are stored, and so that's important to remember, because Megan's got a similar, internal layout in her head, which is important later on. And Katie says, Bruce is amazing. She says, I know he's not very good, but she says, Bruce is amazing. If I had him as a toy, I'd never want another toy. And then a light bulb comes on over her head and dollar signs appear in her eyes. And that's when she thinks she's going to have to sort out M3GAN now. So I presume she puts Katie back into bed and she sets about working on M3GAN. There we go. So she gets M3GAN out of the boxes. Remember, her head blew up. So she's got to make a new head for M3GAN. She's doing all this in one night, but it seems anyway. Well, I think she is, because remember, it's supposed to be tomorrow. I'm sure he said tomorrow. I want this presentation, so they're getting a lot of work done in one day. But anyway, workmates come in and they're deciding what wig to put on M3GAN. They end up going for a red wig, a red head, auburn. And then we see the finished product. Well, that was actually a bit earlier on that you might have seen, showing her. There you go. She's having Bruce helping her, fix M3GAN. And then we saw her like 3D printing or whatever, or moulding a new head, internal head part. I can't bloody find it now. Hey, where is it? See, come on, where are you? Not going to bloody do it, is it? Oh, for Pete's sake. Yes, yeah. This is it. There, play that. There we go. That's where she's moulding M3GAN's new head. To replace the one that exploded. It's all cool. A bit Terminator-like, I think that's what they're going for. But anyway, then M3GAN's ready. I think we saw her earlier. I think we showed her. Oh, for God's sake. Right, there we go. We're going to see M3GAN in a minute. From the front, the future of law enforcement. Does have Robocop vibes. Oh, I thought we were going to see her, but we don't. Right, so they go for the presentation, and she takes Katie with her as well. Obviously, remember, David's expecting something for this, cheap toy, Furby thing. It's not called that. This cheap toy. What do they call? Does it say here what they call the toy? No, don't bloody say, does it? Don't mind. Never mind. Not pleasure pet or something. I don't know what they bloody call it. Something along those lines. That looks like Terminator with a little brainiac on top. Okay. There is a lot of Terminator nods in this, but we'll get to that. Anyway, remember, he's expecting that cheap toy, but then she's going to unveil M3GAN, so he's not going to be happy. This chap here, this idiot, he says, it wasn't my idea before the start. But anyway, so M3GAN comes in, and they're watching through like a one-way mirror thing, a two-way mirror. What do they call them? That where there's a mirror on one side and you can see. They're having all the police procedurals. And she brings Katie in, and so she imprints Katie on M3GAN. And say everything's cool. And she tells her to hold her fingers on M3GAN's palm. That that imprints her on M3GAN. So M3GAN will only take orders from Katie. And then M3GAN says, do you want to hang out? So M3GAN goes over here and kneels down, and Katie goes over. Says, do you want to draw your picture? And so M3GAN draws a picture, but there's nothing on the paper. As we see, there you go. Says there's nothing on it. She puts it back down, and have I gone too far? Probably have. Come on, where are you? Did it. Oh, for Pete's sake. Anyway, she draws a picture, does M3GAN, but there's nothing on the paper when it's done. This is a bit like iRobot. You remember when the robot on there drew a picture and it was ace? This is like that, but there was nothing on it. I don't explain how this works either, but there was nothing on the paper. She says there's nothing on it, and then M3GAN on purpose tips some water onto it, and they think she's malfunctioning, but then the water makes the image appear, and it's an amazing drawing of Katie. There we go. So I don't know how that worked with these, she was using like pens or crayons or something, but, it were cool. And anyway, the important thing is David's impressed. So he thinks, it's cool, and they're going to have to get it in front of the chairman and do a presentation for him. So they're all impressed with M3GAN. And M3GAN and Katie become firm friends, and then we have a bit of a montage of them getting up to stuff and playing, and then they're showing like an advert for M3GAN, titanium car and all that, ceramic composite. And David asks how much it's going to be. Obviously, it's going to be expensive. And he says, more or less than a Tesla. It turns out it's going to be $10,000 each. But, there it is, showing how M3GAN won't fall over if you prod her. That stick comes in later on. I'd actually forgotten about this, and I was watching it, thinking, why has he got that stick in his lab? But then, obviously. This is obviously a reference to the Boston Dynamics dogs, isn't it, that you see them kicking about. Kicking and trying to knock over, and they just like stumble, don't they? This is a reference to that. So we're seeing all that. A17 bionic fusion chip. That's what that writing says there. But and there we go. You can get a variety of different skin tones and hair colours. But at the moment, she's a redhead. Anyway, and then we think we have a little bit of a. Oh no, I've missed it. We had a montage of a showing her, bonding with Katie and reminding her to flush the toilet and wash her hands and use a coaster and stuff like that, all that stuff. So anyway, so the next day, or well, several days later, I presume, see, they're all happy, look, and look a bit too happy, a bit. Katie actually does start getting a little bit robotic. I think she's like copying M3GAN a little bit, and which is disconcerting. But it's a bit like that episode of what's that? I don't know what that says. It's a bit like that episode of Next Generation where that it was called Hero Worship, where that kid tries to emulate Data. The kid who lost his parents. Probably where they got the idea for this. And he became obsessed with Data. He like bonded with Data and tried behaving like them, like him, didn't he? And there's a little bit of that going on here. Anyway, so what's happening here now? I can't remember. They're going somewhere. I think they're going to do the presentation, I think. Oh no, that's later. I can't remember where they're going here. But we're seeing that she's... this is the bit where they're showing her doing stuff. So she's having a conversation with Katie in the car there. And Katie's telling her a story, and she's replying to her with proper sentences. It's good AI. And it shows her reading Alice in Wonderland. She's doing all the different voices for all the different characters. And then what? And then I think this shows her flushing the toilet, telling her to flush the toilet in a minute. They're learning to dance. Oh, this comes back later on. Dancing. There you go. Flush the toilet. And she reminds her again. And anyway, but all this time it means that Gemma's got more time, to do her work and catch up a bit. But it also means that Katie's bonding a bit too well with M3GAN, which has bad results. What's that? Repeat is from the 6th day. Oh, that Arnold Schwarzenegger film, isn't it? Yeah, is it? Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? Data is the android from Star Trek TNG. Yeah. Oh, yes. 6th day. I've seen that. I've seen it once. That's about cloning, isn't it? That one. With him from Space Above and Beyond in. Yeah, it's that one, isn't it? It's good as that. Anyway. So what's happening next? Where were we? Right, so they're back at the lab doing something. I can't remember what. I can't actually remember what's happening here. Oh, this is her workmate is saying, I can't remember the name, I'll have to look it up. Cast. It is, she's called Tess, that's it. Jen Van Epps as Tess. She's kind of telling Gemma that, you know, Megan's cool and stuff, but, you know, she's acting as a replacement for the parents. And Gemma kind of, you know, retorts a bit angrily. He says, you know, she's like a replacement parent for your child. That's what she says. He says, she's not my child. And I'm thinking, hang on, she is now. You know, you're her legal guardian now. But so there's a bit of an angry exchange for a little bit. But then Megan spouts. She just like turns on. They thought they turned Megan off, but she was actually switched on because she forgot to class herself. She forgot to program Megan with Gemma as like the second user. So when she told Megan to switch off, obviously she didn't do it because she doesn't, you know, respond to her. So she does that here. But Megan asks about death because they're talking about the death of her sister and brother-in-law, Katie's parents. And Megan asks about death, and then Megan accesses the internet and, you know, finds out, repeats, you know, all about death, the cessation of life and all that stuff. And Gemma's telling her, we don't need to get into that just yet, Megan. And this is where she makes herself the secondary carer or whatever for Megan. So Megan will take orders from her. So that's what's happening here. But all the time there's little things that, you know, Megan gives a little look or her eyes will move, and you know there's stuff. She's a good actress, is this robot? You know, stuff's going on behind those eyes. I never actually saw The Sixth Day. I might have to give it a shot. It was good. I enjoyed The Sixth Day. I thought it was pretty good. You know, for an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. Joshua says it's solid, yeah, about normal for Arnie stuff. Has a few really interesting things though. Yeah, it's like I say, it's about cloning and stuff, and it's worth a whirl. Right, Katie's outside playing with a bow and arrow, and Megan's watching from inside for some reason. I don't know why, but I thought she'd been outside with her, but she isn't. Megan finds the that's Megan looking at a butterfly. She's showing that she's taking in information all the time. There you go. Things get her attention. So obviously it's about AI, and then she's obviously looking at other stuff. And then Katie loses her other arrow. It's just an arrow with a sucker on. She fires it at the window and it sticks to the window, but she's lost the other one. So she says, Megan, can you find me other arrows? This is Megan scanning the arrow. So she searches for it. And we find it's, here it is. She sees it through the little hole in the fence that neither sides had fixed. And so Megan goes to retrieve it. Let's make sure we're still going, because I'm doing a lot of, we're all right. I'm doing a lot of playing and pausing, aren't I? And sometimes they get upset with that. So Megan sees it and she reaches through the hole to get it, but then the dog appears and grabs hold of Megan and starts pulling her through the fence. So Katie comes running out. Hang on, gone too far as usual. Katie comes running over, and she's like shouting, Gemma, Gemma, Aunt Gemma. But Aunt Gemma's there on a computer with the bloody headphones on. I know she's, a new parent, basically, and she doesn't really understand this stuff. If you've got a kid in the house, you don't have your bloody headphones on, do you? Or you have them with one ear off. I've got my headphones with just one side, so you can hear through the other side, for your kids. But no, she's just got her headphones on, she can't hear. But then the dog grabs hold of. Hang on. Here we go. As Cady. Come on. Runs to thingy. Ah, there we go. Runs to Megan's aid. The dog bites Cady's arm. It's actually quite gruesome. Not gruesome, but gets a good bite on Cady's arm. And so she screams at the top of her lungs. Gemma hears that and comes running out. And she's playing them with Celia, saying, if you don't have that dog put down, I'll do it for you. So she's threatening. And then I presume they took her to hospital. It doesn't actually say, but Megan later reminds her to, take her antibiotics. So they must have taken her to hospital and got some stuff for her. And had her patched up. But you'd have thought the police would have been involved, wouldn't you? A dog biting the kid. They would have here anyway. They'd have taken the dog away. But anyway, she's got the dog here in the kennel. You can't see now. There you go. There's the dog in his kennel. I can't remember his name. But I wonder what's going to happen there. What do you think is going to happen there? I think Megan's planning stuff. There we go. This is Megan watching Gemma talking to the local police. Oh, Seattle's in Seattle. There we go. And he's saying that he can't do anything about it. He said the dog's had no history of violence. I thought, well, he bloody has now. He's bitten her, And she says her arms all looks like a dental mould. And but he won't do anything about it. So you've rubbish police in Seattle and you've rubbish child services. Well, overprotective, but never mind. Right, then what happens? All right, then we hear, we see the dog. Hang on, where are we? There we go. See the dog, and I think it's Dewey. Yes, I think it's called Dewey is the dog. And we hear somebody call it. Sounds like Celia, but with a slightly robotic, what they call it, modulation to it, calling for the dog. It sounds like Celia, but it's not. Obviously, it's Megan, and we see Megan's hand drop some treats, and the dog comes to investigate and eats them, and then hang on, go on. Come on. All right, it's bloody looking. How long are you going to look? Right, there we go. And Megan appears and grabs hold of Dewey. And that is the end of Dewey, we learn. And then we hear Celia shouting outside. Where's Dewey? Dewey! She's calling him. Wakes up Gemma. Gemma goes to see her. She's like, I'm whistling. I can't do that, but doing that, waiting for Dewey. So the dog's gone. Megan's taking care of the dog. The cover looks super familiar. I feel like my friend's parents had it on their VHS shelf or something. Oh, I presume it's still on about the 6th day. Yeah. That's it. It's been out ages. It's an old film. Anyway. Then what's happening? She goes in to check on Cady. Megan's all tidied up now. She must have run a comb through her hair and tidied her up. And this is where Megan reminds Cady to take her antibiotics and keep her fluids up and all that and get plenty of rest. And Gemma agrees. And apparently today is the big day of the big presentation for the board of the company, the chairman and all that. And she says to Cady, you don't have to do it if you don't want, but people have flown all the way across the country to see this. But, you don't have to do it if you don't want. I'm not forcing you. And like Megan gives her a little look. And it's really good. And but Cady says, oh, it's all right. I'm all right. I can do it. That's it. It's a bit... she's not the nicest person, really. I suppose it's her job's on the line, maybe, but you know, poor kid. But anyway, here they are, all the box. Bloody, what's up with his head? Is he an alien? He's from what's that? This Island Earth, isn't he? He's Exeter from This Island Earth. He's got a what they call it, interocitor in his room. Anyway, poor fella. Right, so it's all the board members ready for this presentation, and what's going to happen is, here we go, we see Katie sitting in this room, and M3GAN comes in, says, ask Katie if she's okay, and then Katie just bursts into tears, and Katie asks, M3GAN asks if it's the you know, the bite that's still hurting, and she says no, and then Katie starts telling, this is where I start crying at film, because I'm a big soft get. Exeter wallets. No, not Exeter wallets. Bugger them. The bloody wallets. The RFID wallets or whatever they are, and you can't put money, you can't put change in, you can't put any quarters or 50p pieces in, can you? No, they're no good for that. Not like my wallet that's like bulging and little clip keeps popping off because I've got that much change in it. Small change. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, she burst into tears, and she's saying that you know, she's not got over her parents' death. I mean, it's not been that long, has it? Really, all said and done. And that you know, she doesn't really understand, and she can't remember anything about her mum, and so M3GAN goes over, sits next to her, and says, you know, try and remember something about your mum, and then she can't say, I can't think of anything. She says, just try. So she remembers a time when her mum found a cockroach in her school bag, and it made her scream and run out of the house. And she said that was funny. And M3GAN says, what did she say? She says, oh, that's a memory that, you know, you'll never forget. And says, and if you do, I've got it here. And then she replays Katie's words. So, you know, she's saying she can, you know, keep her memories for her of her parents and stuff, and it's all lovely. They're all crying in the red room behind, and I will go like, oh, because I'm a big soft get. Here they are. So anyway, and that's the end of the presentation. I think. Oh, then she sings her a song. There it is. So they're all crying. She sings her a song. There's M3GAN. There she is. And they're all bawling. And so this is the chairman. He's impressed. So he says, Gemma can have a word. So they go outside. All the other executives are all dabbing their eyes. And so were I. But then, you know, he's all for it now. So he says, right, they're going to have a public presentation in whenever. But he says they're going to have to get onto the lawyers, and because Gemma's going to be wanting to renegotiate her contract because she's the most important person in the company now. But so there we go. So that's that. And then we see David's assistant in a minute. That's that. Then we see David's assistant. I think it's called Cody. I think there he is, stealing, you know, information. This is on M3GAN, putting it in, stealing it from David's files. There you go, the M3GAN thing there, and copying it into his own computer. I don't know if he's selling it or, you know, doing that industrial espionage. I don't know, but you know, he's copying the classified files. It said they were classified, and you know, it's got around the security. So anyway, so what's happening here? She's talking to Katie. What's she saying? I can't remember what this bit is. Oh, this bit, they're outside, and she's having a hot dog. And this is where we first see that she's getting a bit too attached to M3GAN now, is Katie. And Gemma's trying to have a conversation with her about, you know, what's going to go on and school and stuff like that. She's got to go to school. Apparently she was homeschooled by her parents, but Gemma's obviously not up for that. Anyway, but M3GAN keeps butting in, and so Gemma, tells her to turn off, and Katie kicks off. Says, "Why have you turned her off?" And then she starts playing Hummer and stuff and shouting and bawling. But she calms down a little bit, and so she's going to take her to this school. She says it's a special school for gifted kids. I don't know if Katie's supposed to be like on the spectrum or something like that, but she does have a freak out later on, which is very like like an autistic kid. I would know. I've got one. My son's autistic, and when he kicked off big time. It was not just a case of a spoilt brat or all like that. It's a proper do, as they say. But anyway, she's getting a bit too attached to Megan, and she asks if she can take Megan to this new school, and obviously she says no. And she says, "Oh, well, I'm not going to go then. You can't force me." There you go. That's that look. But they do go eventually. They've got to go and see this is Lydia, the Child Protective Services, whatever they call them, person, and she's having a little chat with Katie, and Katie starts crying again, and Megan appears. There she is, and Megan appears with some tissues. There she is. So this is where Lydia meets Megan for the first time, and Megan says, "You made her cry." And Lydia says, "That wasn't my intention." Says, "But that's what happened, isn't it?" So anyway, Lydia goes out, talks to Gemma about it, saying, she's amazed at his Megan, but Katie's becoming a bit too attached, and she's like, Megan's not only, Katie's not only imprinted on Megan, it's the other way around as well. And she's relying too much on Megan, and Gemma's trying to say, but Megan's helped Katie get through this, and said, well, yeah, but she needs other people around as well. But so there we go. Right, then what's next? Right, I think this is where she's talking about the school. She's telling her about the school, and that they're going to go for a visit to this school, and she don't want to go. This is where she's saying, "You can't force me." She says, "Actually, yes, I can." That's what guardians do. And then she has another hissy fit, and screams at her. And Megan's watching all the time, remember. But anyway, they go off to the school. It's an outdoor thing. And so they've arrived. There they are. And she won't get out of the car. She won't leave Megan. Gemma's supposed to be taking Megan in for some last-minute checks before this big presentation, this big public one they're having. She wants to give her a check over, but Katie won't leave her. And anyway, a teacher comes over and is impressed with Megan. He says, "Is that a doll?" And says, "Well, yeah, sort of, but she's like kind of classified." But the teacher says, "Well, if you want to hang around for a bit, hang on, I've gone too far, haven't I? If you want to hang around," that's the teacher. Anyway, so if you want to hang around for a bit, you could put Megan on the toy table. They've got a toy table where the other kids put their toys while they're off doing the activities. So he said, "Okay, then we'll do that." So she's going to be late for work, isn't she, Gemma? But whatever. So off they go. So there's Megan on the toy table with the teddy bears and stuff and dogs and all that. All the rucksacks underneath, satchels, whatever you want to call them. Right, so Gemma's talking to this is Holly, one of the parents, and we learn her son Brandon, we're going to see him in a minute, who's, a bit of a brat. She calls over to him and he tells her to F off. And says, "Oh, kids, you never know what they're going to say." And there he is, there's Brandon. You can tell he's a bad one, can't you? So they're all getting ready. All the kids are going to look for horse chestnuts because they're going to, roast or chestnuts or whatever. I don't know, but they're going to roast chestnuts. So they're going to go and find some in the woods, and they're going to pair each kid up with another kid. And they talked to one particular child, and they said, "You can go with Brandon." And this child says, "I don't want to go with him." So he says, "Okay, then Katie can go with Brandon." You'd think the teacher would know that Brandon's a little shit, wouldn't you? But anyway, so puts the new kid with Brandon. So off they go into the woods. She's watching, as she's always watching, is M3GAN. So off they go into the woods. Oh, they are horse chestnuts. And I forgot about this bit. Brandon gets one, finds one. We call them conkers over here. Do you call them that over there? I don't know. We call them conkers. Because when we were kids, we used to collect them, obviously take the nut out and put some string through, and we'd play conkers. And you'd hit the conkers against each other, with somebody else. And, if it breaks, your conker wins. But I was rubbish at it. But anyway, that's what we did when we were kids. Anyway, so he gets this, and he pushes it into Katie's hand. There we go. Reckon he's going to give it to her, but then he pushes it into her hand and makes her cry out. And obviously, this alerts M3GAN. Obviously, Gemma doesn't hear it. M3GAN must have super hearing. But then he does that, and then I think he turns around, and we see M3GAN standing there. There, the camera's going to pan in a minute. Here she is, look, standing there in the mist. So he says, "Who's that?" And it obviously must realise it's a doll. But so, "Is that your doll?" And she says it's a robot. And he's like, "Wow." So he goes over to her and flicks her nose, and tries to get her to do something. But Katie says she won't. She'll only play with me. She's imprinted on me. So then he picks her up, picks up M3GAN and runs off with her. Because he's a little sod. There he is. Look, his evil face. So he runs off with her, and Katie calls out to Gemma, saying, Gemma. Then she hears, they hear the noise, and she looks over and sees M3GAN's gone from the toy table. So she goes to investigate. But then we cut back to Brandon. There we go. That's Katie. Katie's over there looking for M3GAN. But Brandon's got her there. And he throws her down on the floor. There's Brandon. And he takes her shoe off and throws the shoe away. And then he starts hitting. There you go. Takes the shoe off. Throws it away. Then he starts hitting M3GAN. So I don't think he's a particularly abused child. He's just a little shit, I think, basically. Because his mum looks like the caring type. But maybe he was abused, I don't know, by another member of the family. I don't know. But anyway, he's hitting M3GAN. Then he goes to do something else. What does he go to do now? I can't remember. But M3GAN gets hold of his hand. We're going to pull a hair off, that was it. But M3GAN's obviously having none of that now and grabs hold of him. And then she gets hold of his ear and starts pulling on his ear like that. I think this is the first one now of this is the unrated version or the unseen version, where it's a bit more gruesome than the theatrical version. In the original version, we just saw her pull his ear, and we didn't see anything happen. We didn't see any blood or anything. But in this, it kind of shows it. So she's pulling on his ear, and he's screaming, and she's saying, you should be nicer and all that. And there you go, she's pulling on his ear, and she basically just rips his ear off. And she can hear Brandon screaming. Are ears that stretchy? I know he's a kid, but I don't think even kids' ears are that stretchy, are they? There we go. Off it comes. There we go. We didn't see that in the theatrical version. So he falls back, going, "Ah!" And then M3GAN says to him, "This is where you run." They changed the line, actually. I think in the trailer it says something like, "Now you run away," or something like that, or "Now you run." But in she says, "This is the part where you run." So he runs off, then she chases after him. She throws his ear away, which is important. She throws his ear away, and that comes back to haunt him later on. There we go, that's her throwing it away. and he sets off running, and then she does a cool bit of. I'm going to see it here. There we go. I watch now, thinking, "Bah, it's cool." Look, she like just gets ready. Look, she's getting ready to go chasing after him. Like I said, the little girl that played M3GAN is, cool and very nimble and lithe. She did all the stunts as well, by the way. And like I say, it's very eerie seeing M3GAN chasing after Brandon. But then Brandon falls. I've gone too far. Look, bloody typical. Brandon falls, rolls down this hill, and then we get the second bit that they'll cut out of the theatrical version. Hang on, I better make sure we're still streaming. Yeah, we are. Where were we? Falls into the road. We see this car coming, and he looks up, and that's where it cut away in the theatrical version. We didn't see what happened, but in this one, bang! He gets run over. Yeah, that's the end of Brandon. I shouldn't say that really. That's a bit cruel, isn't it? Yeah, that's the end of Brandon. But you were a little shit, wasn't he? But it'll be sad for Holly. There's M3GAN watching on. I presume she retrieved her shoe. But never mind. Anyway, the police have arrived. It showed them putting Brandon in a body bag and all that. M3GAN's watching again from inside the car. Obviously, they don't know what's happened. I think it's just a tragic accident. She's watching there. She's looking at Katie's emotional state. And there you go, all the stats there. What does that say? Anxiety, 88. Confusion, 81. Trepidation, 61. Guilt, 99. I don't know why she's guilty. Fear, 25. We see that a few times where she's analysing Katie and other people. But anyway, so they get back home, and she says, you're not to blame. Don't feel any guilt about what's happened. It was a tragic accident. Yes, karma. It was a tragic accident. There was nothing they could do about that. And then I think M3GAN says something here. I think she, that makes Gemma a bit suspicious. But I can't remember what. So we'll play a little bit and see if I can remember. Oh, then the police arrive. I think. Never mind. That's it. I think she says something that piques Gemma's interest and makes her a bit suspicious of M3GAN. Anyway, the police arrive, so she goes to answer the door, and she says, "Look, I don't know where the dog is," and she's saying, "Bullshit is Celia." She threatened him and all that. And she says, "Look, I don't know where the dog is." And then Celia's saying, ask that little girl that's always looking out the window at 3 a.m. So obviously it's on about M3GAN. And she says it's just a doll. So anyway, so she says, "I don't know what's happened to the dog," and the policeman tells her, fix the fence, which is, what she should have done to start with. But anyway, so it goes back inside. Right, there's M3GAN. I presume that's her charging station. Looks like it, doesn't it, where she's recharging. Don't think she's nuclear powered. She's giving Katie, words of comfort and all that. And I think she sings her a little song again. And then she goes out to deal with Celia. Pardon me. In a minute, I think we see Celia looking for Dewey again. Here she is, looking for Dewey, the dog. Then she hears a noise, and it's it sounds like Dewey, but modulated. So she goes to investigate what's going on, and it's in her shed. She goes in and puts the light on, and we see some glowing eyes. We hear a bit of a growl, but we see some glowing eyes in the darkness, and So she hears it first. We think it's Dewey in the corner. She says Dewey, but then here we go. We see the eyes glowing in the dark, but then oh well, don't see him there. It was before that. But then M3GAN rises up out of the shadows, and then comes Robot walking out, looking a bit stiff, and she's got the pressure washer. Remember from earlier on, Chekhov's pressure washer. She's got that, and she gives Celia a good dousing with the pressure washer. Then Celia, hang on, I've gone a bit too far. Celia, tries to get up to escape. M3GAN gets the nail gun. Don't know why Celia's got a nail gun. Maybe it was her husband's. I don't know. And fastens Celia down. And then she pressure washes her to death, as we see here. There she go. There's another bit that we didn't see in the theatrical version. I think it just showed that and cut away, but it didn't show that. The bit of gruesomeness. Because it had a PG-13 certificate when it originally came out, and that's it. The little bit of gore that's in it had given it an R rating. But I think it was a 15 here anyway, 15 certificate. Yep, says there, 15 certificate. Can you see? And I think it was that anyway when it was, theatrical release. So you got to be over 15 to see it. Anyway, so M3GAN's killed Celia. And by the way, she owns up to Celia to killing Dewey. She says he's 34 feet west and 5 feet down. So she's killed and buried the dog. Then the police arrive and knock on Gemma's door the next morning. And Gemma says, I don't know where the dog is. And he says, it don't matter now. And the policeman looks round and they're bringing Celia out in a body bag. And there's a detective there. So she's to go and talk to the detective, who is quite funny, I must admit. It looks familiar, but I don't know what I've seen him in. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at his name. Is that him? Officer Carter? No, that's the other fella, isn't it? I don't know then. I don't know. It doesn't have his name there. Let's have a look on IMDb. Officer Carter. Police Detective Millen Baird. No idea who he is. Never heard of him. He just looked familiar. What have I seen him in? Let's have a look. What have I seen him in? Known for Housebound. I've not seen that. But I know that was a film that the same director did before. So he must be a New Zealand actor. Yeah. Auckland Days, TV series. So I don't know. He's a New Zealand actor. He must have one of those faces that looks familiar, but he ain't. Anyway, and he says, obviously she says, I don't know anything about it. I don't know what's happened. I was home alone with me niece, and we didn't hear anything. And he says, this is the second time you're giving a statement in 2 days. He says, you were there when the accident with the kid, Brandon, and the detective reveals that. Although they thought it was an accident at first, they're now treating it as a homicide because they found his ear up in the woods. And he laughs and he says, sorry, I shouldn't laugh. So that was quite amusing. So yeah, they're treating that as a homicide now, and that's sort of like twigs a bit with Gemma. So she's obviously now thinking that M3GAN's a killer android. So there we go. There it is. This might be the bit where he says it. Let's see if it is.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Point is, we're also...
Oh, there's a bit where he shouldn't laugh. Very dry. Oh, he was in Legend of the Seeker. I liked that show back in the day. Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Was it on Sci-Fi Channel? I think it was, wasn't it? Was it? I don't know. It's not called Sci-Fi Channel anymore, is it? Showing me age. This is Gemma. I think wondering about what's going on with... M3GAN, so she's going to go into her lab, I think, and try and figure out what's going on. There's M3GAN recharging. She's playing, but goes back into her lab, and she's playing back because M3GAN's supposed to upload all her stuff to the cloud, everything she sees and all the GPS data and everything up to the cloud, and Gemma's going and checking it out to see what happened. You'd have thought they'd done that anyway, wouldn't you? But I thought she'd have said to the police, "Oh, M3GAN records everything. She can show you exactly what happened." But you know, she obviously didn't think of that, did you? But anyway, she checks it out, but then it gets so far. Oh, there she's checking Brandon's emotional state, malice, contempt, resentment, spite, and contentment. So that's all his emotions. But then as it goes on, as she looks, we see the data becomes corrupted. Is it going to show it? There we go. The video cannot be played. It's a data corrupted and stuff like that. Then she goes to check the GPS data, and that stuff, their files are corrupted as well. It's not showing it. It's stupid. Is that playing or paused? Can't tell. And then the voice of Ellie, you know, the Alexa thing, comes on and says, "Are you okay, Gemma?" And she says, "Ellie, you're not programmed to ask about my emotional state." And then we see it was actually M3GAN pretending to be, you know, Alexa. So basically, M3GAN, you know, she doesn't own up to killing Brandon, but she's obviously acting suspiciously. So Gemma uses a trick to distract M3GAN, because I think she won't turn off. I think it says something like, "The way past that now." Have I gone too far? I think I haven't. Yeah, she uses a pen to distract her. There we go. And when she's distracted, she's got like an off switch. It must be just under her ear or something like that. And as M3GAN's distracted, checking on the end of the pen, she reaches out and switches her off manually. And then she ties her up, wraps her up in. So I see, I've gone too far again. Oh, for Pete's sake. Shows her tying her up, putting her in bubble wrap. Come on, get on with it. Anyway, she does that. Look, there you go, wrapping her up. So she's taking her back to work. She obviously knows something's wrong with M3GAN, even though she didn't really admit to, you know, killing Brandon. The way she said, you know, talking, she knows there's something wrong. But she's taking it back. And anyway, meanwhile, at the back of the car, Katie's kicking off, saying, "What have you put in the trunk for? You know, and she's my friend, blah, blah, blah." She's screaming and shouting and having a proper... This is why I was thinking, is she, you know, on the spectrum? Because her reaction there was a little bit like that. You know, she wasn't just being a problem child. Well, I don't think she was anyway. I think she is on the spectrum slightly. There she is, and eventually she does calm down, and she says, "What's wrong with her?" And Gemma says, "I don't know. That's what they're going to try and find out." So there they go. So she goes back to work to Funky, and they've got to try and work out what's up with M3GAN, and they're all reminded there's this big, you know, presentation, big public presentation that they're going to be having. I think it's that day, later on in the evening. But they're, you know, they don't know what to do about it. And Gemma tells them to take M3GAN down to the lab and basically, you know, plug her in and do all the diagnostics and try and find out what's gone wrong with her. And I think she tells them that, you know, she all the cloud data had been corrupted. Right, so that's what they're going to do. Meanwhile, she's kicking off. She's supposed to be talking. That Lydia's there again, the Child Protective Services woman. Katie's kicking off. She's throwing stuff at the glass, saying she wants M3GAN back, and then we go to a bit of a news report. What is M3GAN? You know, the $10,000 toy that's going to, you know, change the world and all that. Then we see the setting up of the event that's going on. This is she's watching a a video of Katie, for the presentations, a video of Katie talking about how her parents died and M3GAN helped her and all that. And then she goes back in to see Katie's with Lydia, I think, in a moment. And she's still kicking off. There we go. She's still kicking off. See, I've gone too far, as usual. There we go. She's kicking off with Lydia, and she picks up a pair of scissors and brandishes them, aggressively. And Gemma comes in and she takes the scissors off her, and Katie slaps her, gives her a slap round the face, and and it's like shocks herself, and Gemma says to Lydia, "Can you just give us a minute?" So they have a little chat, and Katie says sorry straight away. I think she shocked herself. It's happened to me. My son's done it with me. He's when he were younger, he could be quite volatile, but once he did something wrong, he knew instantly he'd done something wrong, and he would apologise straight away, and that's what she did. But they have a little chat about, and this set me off again, about that, M3GAN's just a distraction, and that what happened, she's supposed to be having these feelings that she's having, these terrible feelings, because she's lost her parents, and it's the worst thing in the world that could have happened to her. But Gemma's going to be there for her. M3GAN's not the one she should really be relying on. And Gemma's sorry she wasn't trying hard enough and all that. She got caught up with M3GAN as well, didn't she? And all the whirlwind around that. But she's saying now that she's there for Katie. So what she's going to do now is take her home. So that's what they're going to do. And then she's telling that M3GAN makes her feel better, and Gemma's telling her no, M3GAN's just a distraction, really. But she's going to take her home now. Meanwhile, David's kicking off for the presentation. There's not enough people there, so he wants the atrium filled. And then he sends this fella a code. I can't see him, but he's just there. His assistant. He sends him away to get him a drink or whatever, shouting and swearing at him. It's a terrible actor. He's funny. Sends him off. Him that was stealing the secrets. So he's going to go and look. He says going to go and look for Gemma. But Gemma's leaving. We see she's in the car with Katie. She's taking them home, and she phones up. I forgot her name. Tess. She phones up Tess. See, I've gone too far now. Dear. You try and bloody skip. She's phoning up Tess to tell her that she's taking Katie home, and they're just going to have to postpone the presentation. And Tess is talking with her on the phone and saying that's probably for the best. You do all that, but then towards the end, the voice gets a little bit of modulation on it, and you think, oh, hang on, what's going on there? And then we cut to the lab, and for crying out loud, we cut to the lab. There she hangs up. Then we cut to the lab, and we see that Tess and what's his face, the idiot, are working on M3GAN, and Tess's phone was there on the worktop. So it's M3GAN talking through Tess's phone. We find out. So anyway, they've got to check on. That's when Tess notices that there were a call from Gemma that she didn't take. But they're checking on M3GAN's programming, and she's going through the code, and then they see, there you go, he spots something, he says go back, and then they see that it were a phone there, phone intercept, call intercept phone number, and that's Tessa's phone. So they realise that M3GAN intercepted a phone call. So Tess tells the fella, what's he called? Tells him, Cole. He's called Cole. Tells Cole to unplug M3GAN from all this stuff. Maybe they think, because she's plugged in, she can still access, the power and stuff like that. Because the power goes off on the computer, as you can see there. There's no power on that. The power goes off. So they're going to unplug her. So this is where he uses that stick we saw him using earlier to make sure that here he is, to make sure M3GAN's switched off. Come on, get your stick. There he is, reaching out for it now. There it is. Though. It's gonna it gives her a little knock just to see if she's switched off. If she doesn't respond, so he goes round and unplugs all the wires, and as he unplugs the last one, her eyes are watching him. They don't notice it, but we see her eyes are moving. She's not switched off, but he's unplugging the wires. And as he does the last one, the one attached to her head, here we go, does the last one. As he unplugs that one, she comes to life. There you go. All the computer comes back on, and she grabs hold of him. There you go. And starts hanging him. There you go. I don't know how she got that unattached so quickly from herself, but she did. So she starts hanging Cole and unattached herself. Tess has to go and run to help Cole. Let's see, I've gone too far again. Keep trying to not go too far. Cole's being hanged. As Tess runs to help, M3GAN stabs this flammable material. I don't know why it just blows up, because they don't want the fire, but I don't know. Tess gets Cole down, and then just as they get up, says, "What's that smell or something?" There's M3GAN walking off, and then all that flammable material explodes. And I don't know why. It just blows up for no reason. I don't know why. There were no naked flames or anything. I don't know what went on there, but there you go. But never mind. And as M3GAN walks past a fire alarm thing, she obviously uses her connection to the net. There you go, to switch it all back to normal, so the fire brigade's not going to come. They still call them fire brigade. Tell you I'm old. They're still going home. David's kicking off. He's phoning up. Oh my, yes, I think that's why we saw her in the car. I don't think she answered it. She saw, David came up on the phone. She's not answering it. Gone to voicemail, so he's playing Hummer with playing bloody hell. Oh, there we go. See, I've gone too far again. Then he says, got to do a presentation. I haven't got an effing robot. Then he comes round the corner, and she's there. And then she just starts dancing. He says, "M3GAN?" And then she just starts dancing like that. And so it's like, what's going on here? But remember, we saw them dancing earlier on. I don't know why she's dancing now. But it was a cool flip. Are you ready? There you go. Very, what they call her? That wrestler. She does it. I forgot her name. Don't matter. Never mind. Anyway, she does that. She does that, and then she goes over to the paper cutter. There you go. She just rips off the blade. They still have them. It's a bit, low tech for a high tech company, doesn't it? For a guillotine. But so he thinks, bloody hell! So off he's going to go. He's going to run off. And this is a nice little scene. It's a bit of a slasher movie type thing. He's running off down the corridor, the red corridor. She's just walking afterwards. Walking quickly, but just walking. But he's running. But she's obviously gaining on him, which is what they do in slasher films, isn't it? The slashers just walk, and the people are running to escape, but they can't. Then he sees him, whose name I've forgotten again. What's he called? He is called Kurt. He's Kurt, obviously, yes. He's got his drink, look, that he asked him to get. And he says, hold the door, as he's running down the corridor. So he tries to do that. See, she's walking quickly, but she's not running. He's running. Hold the door. So he tries to do that. He's pressing the button. And he just gets there in time. But she must have she must run at the last minute. Because there we go. He gets run through with a guillotine, spraying Kurt with blood. And so that's the end of David. And there's supposed to be a different version of this. I don't know if they filmed it or if it was just in the script. But there's supposed to be where she cut David's head off and threw it down the elevator shaft. I don't know if that was filmed or if it was just in the original script. But it's not in this bit, so never mind. We have one of those in our office. Lots of fun. We used to have them. Where did I see one? I think we used to have them where I used to work as well, but never used it. Anyway, so in she comes, does M3GAN, and she's basically going to blame. She tells Kurt her evil plan that she didn't kill anybody. Kurt did it. Because obviously he thought David had found out about him. So obviously she knew that Kurt was stealing the secrets. And David found out about it. And so Kurt killed him and then killed himself. And then she cuts Kurt's throat, slashes Kurt's throat. It's another bit. By the way, we didn't see David getting run through and the blood spraying. And we don't see Kurt getting his throat cut in the theatrical version. But we're doing this version. And then she's telling him all about what's happening. And then she kills Kurt. In a minute, when she's ready. She's monologuing, basically. Get your monologuing done. And then kill the bugger. There she goes, raising her arm ready, look. To see off poor Kurt. There he got to keep stopping it. 8 seconds you're allowed, they say. There he is. Oh, nice spray of blood, which you didn't see in the theatrical version. Right, they're getting ready for the big presentation. Some people and kiddies about. The elevator door opens. M3GAN walks out, and this woman here turns and looks and sees the dead bodies. There you go, Kurt and David in the elevator, and screams. So while there's panic going on, M3GAN walks out, gets into the whatever that is. Is it a Tesla or is it something else? I don't know. I can't make it out. I think it is, might be. Could be a Tesla. Gets into this car anyway. I bet it's David's. I bet it is. Gets into it. And turns out she's a TX, isn't she, of Terminator 3, because she just controls the car now. She's in the car. Is it a Tesla? I don't know. I don't know about cars, particularly electric ones. So off she goes. It's obviously going back to Gemma's. So there you go. Katie's asleep. Gemma hears piano music. She goes in and we see M3GAN's playing the piano in the room. There she is. I didn't even know they had a piano. Maybe we saw it earlier on, but I never noticed it. But anyway, apparently M3GAN can play the piano with her little, plasticky sausage fingers. She must have good dexterity. But she's playing the piano. Don't ask me what she's playing, I can't remember. Moonlight Sonata, we'll say. It's not. She's playing that. So this is when she gets all sinister now, there's M3GAN, and she's basically owning up to everything. And that, she's there for Katie forever and all that. She's proper sinister. Anyway, they start having a fight because Gemma's not going to help her, obviously. Gemma's telling her that, there's obviously something wrong with M3GAN. But M3GAN's saying, no, there's nothing wrong. But then Kate and they're having a bit of raised voices. Well, Gemma is. So Katie comes out and asks what's going on. And there you go, M3GAN's telling her to tell Katie there's nothing wrong, everything's fine. You know, if you don't do as I say, I'll kill you and all that. So that's what's happening there. So Katie goes back to bed. So they start fighting. So they're fighting all around the house, as we see. And I think they end up in the lab. Here we are. They're in the lab. So there we go. So she's throwing stuff at her. There we go. She just catches the hammer. I'd be thinking, bloody hell! I'd have ducked straight away. I'd have been out the way of that because I thought the hammer had come flying back at me. There you go. Table goes out the way, showing her strength. Then she gets the what they call the hedge trimmers. Hedge trimmers. Thankfully, they're charged. It's one of those wireless ones, isn't it? Cordless, not wireless, cordless. Luckily, it's charged up. You know, she can get it off. Anyway, she sets to. There we go on M3GAN. There we go. There we go. By the way, we saw Bruce on the floor. Bruce got knocked over, along with a what do we call it? A bookcase thing, some sort of cabinet. There we go. Let's make sure we're still going. So I'm doing a lot of little clips here, aren't I? Yes, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. I don't want to miss anything now, you see. We're getting to the climax. Oh, pardon me. Pop. So there we go. So we see some sparks coming out of M3GAN. But obviously she's... and then the hair gets caught in the hedge trimmers. So some of the hair gets ripped off now, look. So... I don't know why she's looking so shocked. But here we see... M3GAN looking a bit more scarified now. And then I think she grabs hold of... there we go. She just punched her, knocked her down, and then she... A bit of hair for her hair. So she pulls out a bit of Gemma's hair in retaliation. We're going to see it now, is that... Yeah, we go. So, there we go. So... I don't think she's hurt her nose, look. So what she's going to do now, she says, well, you can't, you know, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to kill me and then go and live with Katie's grandparents in Florida? You know, I don't think that's going to happen, is it? So M3GAN reveals her plan. She's going to get like the pen that we saw earlier on and use it to lobotomise Gemma. I presume not like a full like lobotomy, just so she can control her. I don't know, but she's gonna use her as a personal mechanic, I suppose. What she means, to keep her in tip-top condition. But she doesn't say that in so many words. But that's what she's going to lobotomise Gemma with the pen. She describes how she's going to do it. The frontal lobe and all that. I don't know, but that's what she's going to do. There you go. That's the pen. It's actually not a pen, is it? It's one of those. It's like a light pen, isn't it? Or a tablet pen, isn't it? I've got one somewhere. Where is it? Oh, is that it? Yes, I've got one here. Look. Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? One of them. Covered in dust. Tells you how long it has to use my graphics tablet. It's one of those, anyway. So she's going to pick that up and lobotomise Gemma. But then I think Katie arrives, as we'll see. Katie arrives in a moment, and she just turns around, and I think she says she'll do the same to Katie as well, because it's her job to keep Katie safe. But then Katie says there's another member of the family you haven't met yet, because Gemma thinks, she says, "Come on, Katie, I'll keep you safe," and she starts walking into the room, and Gemma's saying no. But then Katie says, "There's one member of the family you've not met yet." I think this is that bit. And we see that she's wearing Bruce's gloves. There we go. So she activates Bruce's gloves, and Bruce gets up, comes out from the A bit Terminator, a bit jerky as well, like it's a stop motion thing. I don't know if it is, I doubt it, but it's moving in a stop motion way. He's Bruce. So he comes out and so he has a fight with this is a bit aliens bit in it. Get away from her, you bitch part. So Bruce and Megan have a bit of a fight now. There we go. It is all jolly good fun. So all this is going on, but Bruce doesn't actually last that long against Megan, to be honest. As we see, but Bruce rips Megan in half. I forgot about that, and throws the top half over that bookcase there. But she's not done yet. Is Megan? Megan comes back out. There she is. She comes back out, crawling back out. Bit Terminator, just the top half of her, like the end of the first Terminator film. But she comes back out, and Bruce, Katie, sets Bruce off again. But Bruce, obviously not looking where he's going, stands on the bottom half, on the bottom half of Megan, and falls over right onto Gemma. There he is. Look, don't crush you. He mustn't weigh a lot, but he's landed on there. So that's the end of Bruce for the time being. So here comes. What's her face? Megan's trying to get to Katie now, crawling across the floor, and but Gemma gets out, sees that's Bruce's head in it, so picks that up, and gives. There we go. Gives Megan a few whacks with that, and obviously and rips her, her head off, her skin off, and so we see her inner workings now, and so Megan grabs hold of Gemma and starts throttling her. As we see, Gemma's going bright red as she's being throttled, and then we see a screwdriver on the table. There you go, she's throttling Gemma. The little sausage fingers that could play the piano. But Katie comes to save the day with the screwdriver. She must be a strong little girl, or them computer chips are really, fragile. But in it goes. So luckily, she knew where the CPU is for Megan is, because it's the same as for Bruce. So there we go. So that's the end of Megan. So she falls down dead, and that's it. That's the end. Then the police arrive, an ambulance, and we learn it's Tess and the other fella whose name I've forgotten already. Cole, Tess and Cole. They arrive. So they didn't die in the explosion in the lab. They were fine. So they arrive, and but it's not the end. As they come out of the house, there we see there. Look, there's Tess. She's fine. There's Cole, breathing oxygen in the back of a police car. Do they have oxygen in police cars? Don't know. In Seattle, it seems. So they're all happy, and as they come out, look, they come hobbling out. There you see there in the background. Hang on, where are we? Where are you? There you go. There you go. There's the Alexa. I don't know, the Ellie she calls. I think it's Ellie. In the background, it switches on and turns to look at us or them. In a minute. Bit of padding, isn't there, in this? Come on, get on with it. There you go. So is Megan now in Ellie? That's what we left to ponder, isn't it? That's what we left to ponder. So there you go. And that's the end of the film. Then it ends there. Then we get the credits. Oh, pardon me, I'm burping. There we go. I don't think there's an end credit scene. Let's skip it on and see. I don't think there is. Not that I noticed. I'm sure I watched it all the way through. I'm sure I did. Yeah, no, there's no end credit scene. So yeah, it ended on Ellie being, maybe Ellie has got Megan's, programming inside. I don't know. But anyway, they're doing a M3GAN 2 in due for release in, I think, January 2025. So, well, nearly 2 years off, isn't it? Not that far off, 2 years. So I look forward to that. That's how they called it M3GAN, you know, just to change, go up a number. And they, you know, have the military involved or something. But apparently the same actors, you know, Gemma and Katie are back, apparently. So, and they're in talks with the same fella to direct it again. So that should be fun. Right, we'll leave it there. So that's it. I really like M3GAN. It's my favourite film of the year so far. I think it's really good and worth a watch. Yeah, it's not exactly original, and it's a bit derivative in places. As I said, homage Terminator and other stuff in it. But it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. And it's well made. And like I said, for $12 million, which is a drop in the ocean, in it these days, it's a hugely entertaining film. Films don't have to cost $200 million, do they, to be entertaining? I don't know where that money goes. I'm sure it's money laundering over at Marvel. But anyway, and other places. But yeah, it's a good film. It's worth a watch. So give it a go. You know, the unrated version is the one to watch because it's got that little bit more gore in it, but it's not much. It's like there's probably like a few seconds added to the whole film. Probably, you know, like 30 seconds at the most, probably added to the whole film. But just little flashes of gore, which adds to it. But it's worth a watch. I do enjoy it. Right, I'm going to leave it there now. So, thanks Joshua and Windgrace for joining in. Oh, crikey, my throat's going. What time is it? Crikey. That went on a long time, didn't it? But, yeah, anyway, thanks for joining in. And thanks out there, the wide world, for watching. If you have watched. But I'm going to leave it there, as I said. So, give M3GAN a whirl. Buy me books. Links are in the description. And wherever you are, don't have nightmares about AIs coming to get you or killer doll robots. But anyway, until next time, hang on, I'm trying to sort myself out here. There we go. Until next time, I'll say that. I'm all over the place, I am. Anyway, I'm going now. Right, so bye.